We'll call the Wright County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for being here in attendance, both remotely and in our boardroom. And we'll move to the minutes from September 22nd.
Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Potter, seconded by Commissioner Delyden to approve the minutes. Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Potter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In these minutes, over the course of 8 years, it has a connotation that Commissioner Burrell agreed with me. I want to make sure that the public understands that this is very rare. We should probably declare it a Wright County national holiday or something like that.
I was saying before the meeting, I said it, I know I said it, but when I read it in writing, it has a bad,
All
just
right.
joking.
Commissioner Potter, I think we should print it out and highlight it and frame it in the back, in the back.
That would work.
And highlight it.
Yeah, highlight, exactly.
Maybe we can make those words bigger.
Yeah.
And we could put it on a billboard on the freeway or something.
All right. All kidding aside, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
The minutes are approved. The agenda for today, any changes?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda as
I'll
presented.
second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Vest. Commissioner Burrell, did you second?
Yes.
Seconded by Commissioner Burrell. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Consent agenda, anything that anyone would like to remove for discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right,
Second.
motion made by Commissioner Delyden, seconded by Commissioner Potter. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. We move on, 9:02, to our timed items. And Mr. Virgil Hawkins, you are joining us remotely. Welcome, Virgil.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and Board of Commissioners. There's 4 items today for Highway for your consideration. And the first one is to request approving a sponsoring agency resolution for a TED program grant for the city of Annandale. They're under 5,000 population, so for them to submit this grant application, it's required we'd be a sponsor. And they're looking for $400,000 for a project involving State Highway 24 through town. And so I'm presenting this to you for your consideration to approve the resolution.
Madam Chair, so
Yes, Commissioner Potter. Oh, okay, you're moving the resolution, okay. Moved by Commissioner Potter, seconded by Commissioner Delyden. Is there any discussion on this?
yes, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Potter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, Virgil, like I say, I would like to know the people we got to talk to down there, because anytime we have an entity in here that goes after TED money, which is tough to get anyway, I mean, I want to support them 100% how they do, and I encourage other cities within the county to apply for these funds. The worst they can say is no. I mean, it'd be great if they get it, because I think they're deserving, and
Yes.
spread that TED money around a little bit and let Wright County get some of it.
Yeah, and it's definitely at a needed location, so thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Commissioner Burrell?
Aye.
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 Resolution passes 5-0. And the next
Okay.
item,
Thank you. The second item today is to approve amendment number 3 to our agency agreement with Mndot for the Trunk Highway 55 Corridor Coalition. And this amendment provides an additional $54,023 in federal funds for preliminary engineering. This increases our total amount available from $90,000 to $144,000. And this money is primarily to facilitate having SRF manage our activities for the coalition. And this also has a deadline, I think, of 2024 for this funding. So this is a resolution for your consideration.
So moved, Madam
all
Chair.
right?
I'll second it.
Moved by Commissioner Potter, seconded by Commissioner Vetch. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
Go ahead.
Mr. Potter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Virgil, I want to thank you for all the hard work to get this. I mean, we were worried about the money running out for that coalition to get going, and a lot of heavy lifting to get that approved, and thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yeah, Commissioner Delyden.
Now, is this for actual engineering of Highway 55 from certain areas, or what is this? This is just strictly to have that company to work with us on it, to continue working with us?
Correct. Yes, Commissioner Dodd, it's primarily to fund the preliminary engineering work that SRF does for us in facilitating, and they've done studies and reports over the years, and they manage and update the Highway 55 Coalition website, and covers the meetings they attend to with legislators.
They-
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and they have been very active at their meetings and
Very active.
at the Highway 55 Coalition meetings.
And Madam Chair,
Commissioner Potter.
thank you, Madam Chair. For Commissioner Delyden, the SRF, you need that person that can help keep everything up to date, so as we're continuing to ask for money, we got more facts and keep building the case, and that's having a coalition, have SRF as an agency that's helping us on that is how you get to the finish line. I mean, it's good. All the facts, crash data, every other little thing that's going on, they're keeping us up to date on every little thing, helping our building our case for improvements on 55.
And I suppose since you're dealing with two different county governments, it helps too to have
Yeah.
somebody like that.
Definitely. All right.
Thank you.
If there's no more discussion, roll call vote. Commissioner Vetch.
Aye.
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 Resolution passes 5-0. All right.
Okay, thank you. The next item is to approve a resolution and quick claim deed for the jurisdictional transfer of our county highway or county road 147 to Rockford Township. And this is a culmination of over a year's worth of conversation with both Rockford and Buffalo Township. And we have an agreement in place already that was signed in May with Rockford Township. And we had a public meeting at the Township Hall on September 1st. And this is the final step in the process to make it official, to approve this resolution today and a quick claim deed to make this transfer complete.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve resolution and quick claim deed for jurisdictional change for County Road 147 to Rockford Township.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Potter, and thank you for all the hard work and meetings you had, Virgil. This was, it feels really good to get this done. So, any other discussion?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this was a team effort, and it took mainly with Buffalo Township, having some good conversations with them about what made sense and what was the right thing to do. And yeah, this is good to get done.
Definitely. And Rockford doesn't have, too many feet of this particular road, but yeah, we still needed their approval for this to go forward, so thank you for doing that.
And Madam Chair, I will do the same way, approve resolution.
We have to vote.
Oh, we did vote, that's right.
So, we'll call, roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Potter.
Aye.
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 Aye. Resolution passes 5-0. Now Commissioner Vetch.
Okay, so Virgil, it's the same one here, but now we're doing Buffalo Township for the approval of the resolution and the quick claim deed and jurisdictional change for 147 to Buffalo Township, so the larger part of the property, the jurisdictional change.
347 feet.
A little bit more than that, but yeah.
Motion made by Commissioner Vetch. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Burrell. All right. Any more discussion on this or comments? Hearing none, roll call vote. Commissioner Delyden.
Aye.
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 Resolution passes 5-0. Thank you very much, Virgil.
Yeah, thank you, and
Is there,
thanks for your time today.
Virgil, isn't there one more? Because you've got City of Buffalo quit claim.
No,
Well,
Township.
as that's one of the deeds, the quitclaim deeds, because part of this transfer, the actual land is in city of Buffalo, so that's why that quitclaim deed is included in this action.
Okay, so it's part of the Buffalo Township, City of Buffalo. It's not separate, or it is?
Some of it's in the city.
You didn't need a separate resolution, really, is the kind of the question. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need a separate resolution, since one's in township, the other's in the city.
Correct, and maybe Greg could speak to that.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, good to see you here via online this morning via Teams. But if you wanted to make a separate motion to approve the signatures on the Torrens deed, I think they would be in order.
Okay.
This actually kind of goes back to our prior transfer. We transferred it to the city of Buffalo. This is a Torrens property. So to effect the transfer, we actually have to record a deed on the Torrens certificate, and then this will be memorialized on that certificate.
Well, thank you for bringing it up, Commissioner Leiden.
I'll make a motion then to approve the quitclaim with the City of Buffalo Torrance property.
Second.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Delyden, seconded by Commissioner Potter. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
It's a resolution, isn't it?
Does it need to be a resolution, Greg, or just a regular vote?
This doesn't have to be a resolution. A regular vote would be fine.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Greg. All right. Moving right along to our items for consideration. Committee minutes, Personnel Committee, Commissioner Delyden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Personnel Committee met, and there's one mistake on here that it said I was remotely present, but I thought I was in the building. So,
You are correct.
okay. Had me confused there for a moment. One of the things that was discussed was a SharePoint administrator reclassification to an Office 365 architect. The IT director, Matthew Fomby, provided an overview of the Personnel Committee to reclassify this position. We've had this position for a SharePoint administrator out there for the past year, but it's actually been longer than that. And then we've had a hard time filling it. So the whole idea is to try and convert that position over to an Office 365 architect position. We should receive a benefit by having a dedicated person to work on a regular daily basis to allow us to utilize Office 365 to the max. Because there's a lot of things in Office 365 that we're not utilizing, because we need to have somebody that is extremely knowledgeable about it and can push those those items that Office 365 can provide to us to improve the benefits that we're paying for. And again, that's since Office 365 is constantly changing, believe it or not, that we do need to have somebody that will have a hands-on with all that. The recommendation was to approve the reclassification of the SharePoint administrator to an Office 365 architect. And the second item was a technical project leader reclassification to a system engineer. That system engineer's position description kind of an unusual one, and they did very similar jobs, so he requested that the system engineer position would be better suited than the technical project leader position. There should be some benefits with additional cross-training and promotional opportunities for staff members. And so the recommendation was to approve the reclassification of the technical project leader to systems engineer. With that, I will make a motion to approve it as long as it gets changed that I was here, present, and not remotely.
Motion made by
Second.
Commissioner Delyden, Seconded by Commissioner Potter with the change to cross off remotely after Dryden. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
The minutes and recommendations are approved. All right. The technology always has a lot of busy, you're busy. You're busy in technology. Commissioner Vetch, thank you.
So, Madam Chair, last week, the IT committee met on Wednesday. As always, a lot of people present, not going to list all the names. We kind of always did an update on a variety of different projects that are going at this time. First is the Office 365, and kind of some of the, trying to leverage some of the pieces within it, kind of moving forward on that. A lot of the discussion, but a great deal of the discussion kind of came on with the HHS Contact Management Center, and what is the true cost of it, how many people will really need the licenses. The licenses are about, I think 140 per license?
Yep.
And it's about there's a discrepancy whether the total cost is going to be 400,000 or more closer to the 200,000 mark. One side's kind of saying it might be more this, the other one's kind of saying it might be more this. A portion of that cost is, I believe, to be paid through the state through HHS reimbursement costs. What that amount is, I do not know. I'm sure more to come on that. The annual cost is a little over $200,000, or roughly about $200,000 once it's implemented, just ongoing maintenance of this system. It's just how many people really within HHS need to be tied into the system, and I think we have to do a lot more vetting on that before we can really hammer down a price. Then there was the new project request, which we're all aware of from the Parks Department, from Matthijs and his new reservation management system. So they're kind of moving forward with that. We had the discussion on the on-base enterprise agreement. The current 3-year project roadmap shows that there's some additional modules and licensing purchases that would have to come into the total cost of the $419,000. So once again, there's kind of some more research and time that's going to go into that. One of the bigger changes, might be a bigger change, I'm interested to see, and I think Commissioner Dahlheiden is going to be interested to see as well, is this new scoring that they're going to put into the projects on the project portfolio list. They're adding a new scoring mechanism to kind of tighten up the process and kind of add more of a logic base to how we prioritize projects. So I think that'll be coming forward next month to the group to kind of look at what those scores and how the projects score out versus where we have them at this current time. I'm kind of interested to see. With that, I will, I guess I should do the recommendations on them. The first recommendation, it was information only on the HHS Contact Management Center. The other recommendation is to approve the purchase and implementation of the Parks Reservation System, which we kind of already did at a previous board meeting. And then the approve on-base enterprise agreement, SOW, for signatures provided to Tuesday, September, today's meeting. And then the informational only on the scoring. So with that, Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve the September 23rd IT committee minutes.
And
recommendations.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Dryden to approve the minutes and recommendation. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Dryden?
just one thing to be aware of regarding the parks, new reservation systems. The auditor's office financial has requested that at some point we look at tying in the credit card processing into our existing system with our current processor. The name escapes me, but they would like to have that done so it'll be easier for them once the new ERP system is set up to get that information instead of having to deal with multiple credit card processing things. The issue is that it's not real cheap to get that converted over because the the vendor that we'll be using hasn't worked with, Forte. Thanks,
Oh.
Connie. So, that'll be another discussion that'll be coming up in the future on what that cost is gonna be and how it's gonna get split up and stuff, so. And I understand, the financial part of it, that it'd be nicer to have just one credit card processor to be dealing with
It would.
over multiples, but there's a lot of other ones that are out there that we still gonna have to deal with, you know, so it's nice, it's a good dream to have, to only deal with one, but I'm afraid that might
not
not
work.
ever
The
happen
reality might not be there.
all the way for everything, so. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that one.
And unfortunately, they all specialize in certain niches. You know, some of them are all counter sales, where other ones are strictly online sales, and it seems like nobody has the whole broad spectrum.
Wow.
I know, Madam Chair, one other thing that was not reflected in the minutes, but that we did briefly discuss was the IT department working with the 10th Judicial Court and kind of putting a tiered escalation system and kind of where the lines are in terms of who's taking care of what and what the process is when they have issues. There's their internal people to then where it goes over to the IT department. And that gets, Frank over here gets to be involved at some point in a lot of that stuff, so.
That was in the minutes.
It wasn't, did I miss that? Oh, you're right, it was.
All right. Any more discussion?
You're right, it was.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, minutes and recommendations are approved. Thank you.
It was not in my minutes that I read out. It was in the minutes.
All right, yeah, so good to bring them back up. Yep.
Yep.
All right, advisory committee, advisory board updates. Commissioner Burrell.
I don't have anything.
All right. Commissioner Vetch. Thing, or if you want a minute, we can move on.
See, because it doesn't see my face then, you know, because all my notes are in my phone and my calendar. So,
Searching the FBI's 10 most wanted list and you're not on it.
exactly.
Frank, I don't know if it makes a difference, but our screen shows kind of a website type deal or something.
So, no, Madam
I don't
Chair,
know if that makes
last
a
week was a not a intensely busy week with things around here, other than we were moved forward with getting that application in through Silver Creek Township, where our Midco put their application in, and we were able to get the resolution from Silver Creek Township, as well as we put that resolution in of support of it. So hopefully, come January, they will get approved for that $1.4 million, so they can put that fiber into that area, because it did wonders. Midco did this a number of years back, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, in the kind of Corinna Township on the border outside the city of Annandale. That was a much smaller project, but once they start that, they've been able to add on to it just incrementally.
Nice.
So I'm hoping that they can make this big infrastructure jump into Silver Creek, then they could just do a lot more incremental. So if that, I don't have a whole lot else this week. There will be another engagement for round 2 for CMRP, our Central Mississippi Regional Planning Partnership. You will all get some more information on that probably within the next couple of weeks as we go to our second round of engagements. So more to come.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Blyden.
Commissioner Vetch, you said this was going to be in the Silver Creek Township, or
Yep.
is it Monticello Township?
So, well, there's a teeny bit in Monticello Township. There's a teeny bit of fiber that'll go in Maple Lake Township. About 85–90% of it's in Silver Creek Township.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, but yeah, you're right, with that being small amounts in those other 2 townships should benefit them
Yes.
considerably in the future. Good, thank you.
All right. Well, I just want to mention that the Turn had some 5, or was it 6, new graduates from the program, and just a little information that we got from the Wright County Adult Drug Court was that September is the National Recovery Month, and it's a time to celebrate the gift of recovery. So they had actually, there was 5 graduates that graduated, actually, and they had a celebration in the park, and it was more confined to family members last the the 24th, last Thursday. So just to say, congratulations to five more people that have successfully completed this program, because it's an intense program and it's very successful long-term. So I want to mention that. We had the Health and Safety Committee meeting last Wednesday. Administrator Kelly was there also, and we discussed we reviewed the incident and accident reports and some potentially hazardous conditions, and they did some safety inspections, and so it's also been working on the safety inspection at the new Justice Center. And we also had a fairly long discussion on the correct way to wear masks to make sure that everyone is in compliance with that. So that was a good meeting, good discussion. Guess Commissioner Burrell and I were part of the, what is that panel? I'm saying TEP, so now I can't, the appeal panel for a dish issue.
Wetland
So
Appeals
we're
Board,
that.
I think.
We're on the appeal board, so we had that. I also had the last meeting of the stakeholders for the city of Buffalo and doing some long-range planning with that. They're going to gather all the data and get that information together for essentially the downtown development area and utilizing the lakefront and that kind of thing. So those have been some good discussions, and that's about it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With your Buffalo long range, that's nice because there's also transportation implications to that here that we need. So when we go forward with District 3 Mndot, we can start planting the seed and stating our case to someday get certain improvements here to help enhance down here too. A couple things this last week. Transportation Alliance, we had a virtual fly-in because with everything going on. Usually go in June, and then we did it in September. Now it was a virtual fly-in. They was talking about the status of federal funding. They did pass a resolution, continuing resolution for the FAST Act for another year. There's quite a bit of discussion on different appropriations coming there. We had quite a few of the players that are dialed in federally with us to help us to navigate through this. I did reach out to Commissioner Vetch to make sure that Monticello had somebody on that call when we had the NEPA process, because we're trying to get that river crossing someday. So hopefully they got something out of it, because I know I talked with the engineer in Sherburne County about, you need to be on this because they need to see us on there. They need to ask questions, if not directly sidebar questions to them with the chat, to let them know that A, we're serious, and B, we expect you guys to move a little faster than 40 years for Stillwater. The nice thing is after that first day that I did get the reception networking with Margaret Anderson Kelleher, our transportation commissioner. This was one time she's here's a good one for Charlie. She's more elusive than the walleye. Trying to get a meeting with her, but I was there with 68 other people, and I got to ask questions about build grant. I'm happy Minnesota got 2 projects, but we didn't get 94 project going on. 55 didn't get the routes money. Some of those things there going on. The other thing is what they talked about the river crossing. That can't take that long. We need a little bit more concerted effort from the state to help the feds help navigate us through this. And then the other one was the transit part of the funding. The rural transit is a little conundrum on the funding of that, trying to get that straightened out. And I think with and that ties into the Heartland Express that they had us do a solicitation, which we chose not to do. The board chose not to do it. Now the latest rumor, the latest news is that Arrowhead pulled out of the solicitation, so now it's turned into something else. And I talked to the commissioner about, we asked their boards to come and sit down, have a meet and greet with us to get to know us, and they wouldn't do it, or they were told not to. Mark Nelson, Mndot said you can. Another one within there, and I know the name, I just don't want to say it, said, we shouldn't. And I says, and I quoted Commissioner Kruger from McLeod County. He says, you don't head into a marriage without at least having one dance with your partner. And I thought that was pretty key, and I used that, and I think that resonated with the commissioner well. It's like, you know, we don't mind helping, but, you know, everybody should be at the table and get the same information. Unfortunately for that system up there, Chisago County just wrote a check to Isanti County, was completely disinvolved, no involvement at all. And Isanti County, I think with the new administrator and a few people, they weren't really dialed in on what was going on with that. So it's more to come on that one. I'll see how that goes. I mean, I did get a call yesterday. John Grotus wants to know if Margaret reached out to me because she does have my cell number and everything else. And I'm trying to wait for a phone call from her to, how do we figure this thing out? Either A, we can, or B, we can't. But either way, try to straighten that thing out a little bit.
In Commissioner Potter, just maybe the question is too, the question that I think all of us want to answer is why? Why would we want to partner? Answer that question. Like, you know, what are you going to bring to the table with us partnering with you? You know, what's their vision? And that's why I think it's weird that Mndot wants us to apply for something that I haven't had the conversation to find out if their vision's the same vision as ours.
And that's, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
to answer Commissioner Betch, I did have multiple conversations with Commissioner Morse from Isanti County and a couple of them from Chisago County on the fact of what are you expecting? They did get a special grant to do weekend service, which we don't have here. But their weekend service, the numbers weren't there, so I know damn well it was a one and done for funding. And what are their expectations? What do they want in the system? You know, I got a feeling that they really don't know what they want. They want everything, but they don't know how they're going to pay for it. And it's hard to say with Mndot. I got conflicting information from them whether they're going to actually be a partner or they're going to be just an advisory committee to us, or what. I mean, there's a lot of confusion on which way is what is the structure here? What does it look like? A little different if they're just an advisory committee and we're running the show versus if they're a full-fledged partner. And if they need that, the education was tough enough with the merger with Trailblazer the way it was.
Yeah.
I mean, this one promises to be big, but Mndot's vision in 2010 was to have a rural transit system on the north and the west collar counties all be one. That was their vision 10 years ago. You know, and wish them luck. I mean, that's a nice pie in the sky dream. It's hard to say that's a heavy lift to get to that end, the finish line on this one. Still hoping to hear something. We can maybe pull something together, but there's got to be a sit-down meet and greet with all the parties involved at one point in time, make sure everybody's getting the same information if Mndot wants to move this forward. Unfortunately for the people, the citizens in Isanti County and Chisago County, it is not going to be without interruption to service. There's just, it's too late in the game to get this. There's no way that's going to
You needed to move earlier.
So it's a little different on that part. So like I say, get with the grants, routes, NEPA process and try to get those things done. More to come on that. We just got to keep going on that one. Trying to make it so the feds not just do continuing resolutions for fast act and different things, actually come up with a long range funding program, because it's really tough for anybody to extend money engineering a project not knowing if there's money in 2 years. I mean, it's really tough because nobody wants to do that. And once contractors lose people, it's tough for them to get them back. They're a little tough, but enough about that one. More to come. We'll see her go. It was all a kumbaya moment. The only thing, I'm not a big fan of Zoom meetings, but in this particular case, the commissioner could not get away from me. She had to sit there with 68 other people listening and had to answer my questions. That part was, I was kind of in my glory there for a little bit. I was having fun. I just couldn't get away. And sometimes when you meet with these people, they all of a sudden get that little knock on the door and the staffers, and then pretty soon their attention's somewhere else. They're not focused on your problems. It's frustrating to me. But anyway, the next item I did is this week I also served on the Mndot Variance Committee again, which I really enjoyed doing that. And I'm glad that it's been an honor for them to ask me to be part of this. And we just had 3 projects, and most of them were pretty simple, things that you can't redesign a road, meet new standards when the old neighborhood's been there forever. And it's kind of those things that common sense has to rule, but their book can't possibly, their code book can't possibly figure out every situation come in. So they have a process there, and it's kind of nice when you can go through this. And yes, at times we have said no to a couple requests on the variance committee, so it's not just a slam dunk automatic yes. They gotta state their case, and they gotta show, you know, they got the aerials, they got all the thing, the designs, the specifications, what code they're trying to, in the book, the statute in their book, what they have to deviate from. Again, it's a lot of fun being on that, and I enjoy it. And that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brader. Commissioner Lyden?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The AMC HHS Policy Committee met on the 14th, the 17th, and the 18th of September. I was unable to make the 18th meeting, but there was 4 things that it was decided was our priorities. We support continuing health and human services waivers that demonstrate administrative efficiency and improve service delivery, which again was something that when COVID hit, HHS allowed counties to do. The other one is to support adequate and flexible funding for public health and then continued statewide response to COVID-19, including vaccine distribution, community outreach, and education. And these two are, I really think, are extremely important. We support partnering with the legislators and state agencies to identify budget solutions that incorporate counties' highest priorities and most effective delivery method to protect and improve public health and human services. And then the other one is we support a community voice, we support a county voice in legislative deliberations on system design, redesign, in key areas of health and human services. System redesign should address racial disparities, include a role for county-based purchasing, and broaden support of housing and services for people with disabilities. The key takeaway from there is that since the counties are the ones that are going to be using that software, we should have a voice in it and working with it.
Common sense.
Yeah, I know. We're not supposed to have the common sense.
I know, I mean, that is ideal and it's important and they need to really, you know,
It shouldn't
move
be,
toward that.
it shouldn't be a hard discussion to have.
No,
And then just again, a reminder that our annual meeting will be all virtual and it will be taking place Monday, December 7th. And again, just a reminder that we really
Monday.
need to make sure when we meet with our legislators, which I'm sure our administrator will be talking about here shortly, how important it is for the administrators, for us to be telling our legislators and representatives on how important things are to us, not just with HHS, but all of our
yes,
concerns and how it affects the county. And then the other thing was that I'm part of the First Step Central Minnesota Joint Powers Board, which is with Benton, Sherburne, Stearns, and Wright. And what it is, it's a coalition, and it's a cooperative agreement between the different counties. And what it is, it's evidence-based home visiting to promote to provide things for new children or families that need a little additional help as far as learning different things. They had one person that was a good example. It was a woman that had, and I can't remember, it was 4 or 5 adopted children, and then she ended up getting pregnant. So to help her understand the differences with, you know, one that was her own and then the adopted children, and
Yeah.
and she was she live streamed with us and she couldn't speak more highly of how First Steps had helped her out. So the other thing is that there's a referral on how this is all happening. And the two biggest ones was Wright County Community Action, the LIC program, referring to First Steps, and CentraCare was also one that referred. CentraCare had a 30%, and Wright County Community Action had a little over 19.5%. So they're getting a lot of information out there. And there's some other information here regarding their budgets and all that sort of stuff that I'll leave in the back for you guys to look at if you want.
And they're, so, and I'm still, I mean, I remember when we discussed this a while back, and I guess I'm still trying to look at the clarity. So they're helping these individuals by meeting this public health staff member. They're going to help connect people with services, or is that?
Yep.
That's the biggest part of that.
So what it is it's to expand two evidence-based home visiting models. So Healthy Families America and the Nurse Family Partnership. And the whole idea behind it is to reduce cases of child protection, corrections, and special education services. So it's to prevent people from getting into the system
On a negative
future.
side. Yeah, so
Right.
trying to get them the resources so they, on a positive side versus them having to enter the system as a negative.
Yep.
I get it, yep. All right.
So the whole idea is to use these processes that have been proven to continue to make sure that kids stay out of the system and
Exactly.
as we go along.
I mean,
Because it's cheaper to invest in it up front than it is later. When we're paying more to keep a person incarcerated than we do to educate a kid in school, there's something wrong with that picture.
right, yeah, I love all these, mentoring type things, and, I mean, that's why diversion works so well, and once kids get into trouble, and if they have a diversion program, so they're actually doing something as opposed to, just like getting disciplined in a different way, it's like eventually they will probably end up incarcerated if they're not helped and they're not mentored along the way, so.
Charlie, the diversion program worked for you, didn't it? The Navy?
Is that what they call it?
You don't really think that, do you?
All
Well,
right.
I would have thought the Navy was probably better than the Air Force. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Administrator Kelly.
As Commissioner DeLayden mentioned, we're looking at dates to meet with legislators. I've kind of targeted that week of November 16th. I don't know if there's a preference amongst the board, but we were up in our office kind of discussing maybe 10 o'clock on Monday the 16th, or similarly on Wednesday or Thursday, just to pitch to legislators. Typically, we are not able to get all of them, but depending on the day, we're able to get a greater number. So I don't know if there's any conflicts during that week.
Other than the 19th, Commissioner Potter and I would have Trailblazers, so.
Okay.
And I have Annandale Safe Schools.
Yeah, I see that. So maybe we'll target either Monday, the 16th or 18th, if that sounds.
That's committee day, but I guess we can be flexible in the time.
I got radio
Yeah,
at 10.
it could be
Oh,
with,
Mike's got radio at 10,
10.
so.
okay,
It could always be at 1 or something.
1 o'clock, yeah, because then they can just go home
Yeah.
after us, and they don't have to, be like that.
okay.
So the date is, when?
You're gonna look for the two dates and see? what
Yeah,
works
I'd
for
like
them?
to propose 2 different dates during that week.
Okay, just let me know.
Yeah,
Okay, very good. Just the other thing I wanted to make known, the update I got on the grant applications through Economic Development Partnership for the CARES funds. We've now had 120 businesses apply and 19 nonprofits, so
That's
it's
more than I was expecting.
yeah, we've seen really good response, so they'll be working through those and be coming forward to the board. So just want to give you a quick update on those numbers.
yeah,
So,
thank you.
Madam Chair, Administrator Kelly,
Yes, sir.
at some point here with those numbers, are we going to get our CARES group, or maybe a committee of the whole, to talk about the allocation of the funding? just because looking at that right now, from what they have right now,
I'm anticipating a follow-up, not knowing if all of those businesses are requesting the full 20,000.
but even if you did incremental, or you did almost half of that between the nonprofits and the businesses, and subtracting out the administrative fees, I'm looking at you're
You're up
almost
there.
right to the ceiling, and we still have another week yet to get applications. So.
Yep.
I-
Right.
But that's something where I was kind of thinking maybe for
Yeah.
our workshop, or otherwise another committee of the whole, because we need to look at the funds balance all together here.
I was thinking that might be a good workshop topic, or if you wanted to break it off separately, knowing the application period's open till the 8th, I'm anticipating that the partnership is going to want that 9th, since it closes on the end of the day, in order to review those last couple applications, so that early part of the next week might be the best time to.
So
Well, I
workshop,
think we should because when they go down to start making recommendations, they're going to want to know what the pot of money that they're going to have before that. So I think we almost have to meet before the workshop to discuss that, so they have an idea how much funds they have
Sure.
going into making recommendations to us. Otherwise, they're going to make their recommendations at a far lower dollar amount. And right now, some of the funds haven't been spent quite as fast as we probably should be. We're getting down to the end of the year here.
Great. So we could, if you wanted to, I know next Tuesday after the board meeting, we do have the leadership team. That would be a conflict, but we could schedule something for a different period during that week. I guess otherwise I was planning to get the up-to-date allocation once we'd gotten recommendations from them, and then reallocating, because we're meeting weekly with the internal costs that have come in and those affiliates as well. So trying to get the up-to-date score. Get the calendar up here. So we could, if you wanted to meet to discuss the allocation of the funding, we could look at the afternoon of the 6th, since you'll be
We do
here.
have-
Ditch
We did.
meeting at 1.
That's right.
1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
unless you want to meet prior to the board meeting on the 6th.
early in the morning? That-
I mean, are we talking more than a half an hour?
I don't know. My thought is I want to look at it as where are we at with the affiliates in terms of who's applied in and what have we granted out, and then I wanted to go through. If we met on the 7th, we'd have a pretty good solidified how many people are going to be applying from the business standpoint at that point. So whether it's 120 or 150 with that side of it, so we have to look at that amount, the money that we've given them so far, and do we need to add more to it? And then also wanting an update on the schools, because we have to talk about, I don't think we put a hard deadline for the schools to have to turn in these applications, and I think we have, because I was expecting a lot of them to have moved on this a lot quicker than they have, so I think we have to, maybe.
We need to get back with them and say. we need-
Exactly.
yeah.
So I want to see where we're at with that. So I think there's just an overwhelming different things that we have to go over on.
Maybe Wednesday morning, the
Wednesday probably better,
7th.
because it might take more than a half an hour.
Yeah, it's better. I've got safe schools at 9:30, but I could do 10:30, because then in the afternoon I have shack,
You're talking about the 7th?
yeah.
So what are you guys thinking, like 10 o'clock?
Or, well, it's like
9, 10?
10:30. I've got safe
10:30?
schools from 9:30 to 10:30,
Okay, so
so I could do it right at 10:30. I could come in here and do my
Your
virtual
safe
meeting.
school's virtual anyway.
My
right?
virtual
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay,
so-
October 7th, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to set a committee of the whole for CARES funds for October 7th at 10:30 a.m.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Potter. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if we could get an invite out to Jolene Foss on that then, please, just because I think it would be helpful if she'd attend on that.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
Okay.
Anything else, Administrator Kelly?
I think that's what I had for today.
All right. Well, if there is no other business to come before the board, we are adjourned at 9:50. Thank you.